Yeah, no, that's the first time I put it in board. Look, is that just... Is it?
It just needs to be screwed, I think.
It's just
I'm screwed. One of us is screwed here.
Oh.
Come on. Yes, that's getting short. Is that?
I think it's worked.
There!
James has this on record as well, it's so good.
There we go.
Podcast gold.
Yes, if you think that's good.
Yeah, why not? Try that.
That's alright. Right.
Happy?
Yeah, I guess we'll just play it by ear.
See what
Just
happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
It's the best thing about it. Right, okay. I'm going to go, which my introduction?
Oh, we're recording as well.
We are recording, yeah.
James, you're doing your job well.
I'm doing alright, aren't I? Anyway, welcome to Off the Stage. It's the show where we take musicians off the stage and into the pub to talk about the ins and outs of the music world. We're back at the fantastic Isis pub. I'm James Berry. This is Conor Michael, and today we have the legend that is Mr. Frankie Francis. There we go. There we go. See, every single podcast, I'll get it right one day where I just like know exactly where the sound bar is.
I mean, it's good. I'm impressed with the technology here on the podcast so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
That's
well done, mate.
as impressive as it gets.
Okay.
James says your name is Frankie Francis. Is it Francis?
Frankie Francis.
Yeah.
It's Frankie
Okay.
Francis.
I knew what he was getting at.
I've got a stuffy nose, so that's going to be my
Hay
excuse.
fever?
So,
That does
I
not
think it
put
is.
to a sir.
Well, it does for me because I'm flipping weird.
Just making sure because he likes to give like people the wrong names, you know.
That's my thing.
I don't mind.
It's a new thing
Call
now.
me what you like.
So most important question of all, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking the alcohol-free lager. Never had the Budvar alcohol-free lager.
I didn't even realise they did that.
Yeah, neither did I. And I went in the bar downstairs. I've got the car, and I said, could I have an alcohol-free lager? And the guy suggested I try one of these. I would normally go for like an Erdinger or something like that.
Yeah, Erdinger's the go-to.
Yeah, it is.
That's
You're
right.
right. Because it's also an isotonic,
It
that
is.
one. You know, when you finish the Berlin Marathon, they give you one.
I was going to say
It
that
replenishes the
they did that
tonics
in
and all that.
the Manchester Marathon
Yes.
as well. Because it's just like Lucozade, but
Yeah. But it tastes like beer.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I don't know anything about running. Can run out of breath very quickly, but
It's
that's about
alright.
it.
I got you a mystery drink,
This is random.
and it looks.
It doesn't look like you spent a lot of money on that, if I'm honest, James. It looks like you've bought on a black currant and water.
I'm gonna pretend it's a really fancy beer, and I spent a lot of money on it.
It looks like you have.
I'm interested to see what happens here.
You'd have to guess what it is as well.
Well, it's
I
pink.
haven't tried it yet.
Surely it's like a cider or something. It's too flat.
It's very flat. It's not a cider.
It's a sour.
It's not very sour though.
Is it not sour? Well, it said it was. Well, actually, you know what? I didn't even say it. I just assumed it was a sour by the name of the beer. Would you like to know the name of the beer?
Hold on, no. I think how many fruits I'm gonna guess are in this?
Oh, right, okay.
That was my question.
It's not. I don't think it's a fruit per se, but it is more.
So it's not like where we have like plum and cherry and stuff.
No, it doesn't.
Because do you know what it tastes like?
What?
A few episodes back, I had a peach Malva cider.
Oh, right.
Sounds good.
It tastes very much like that. I was gonna guess peach. It's very peachy, to be fair.
Do you want to know the name of it?
Go on.
Parma Violet.
Oh, really?
So it's just the Parma Violet sweet. It's like, oh, I think Connor would like. Cause everyone likes Parma Violets.
Yeah, of course.
It's not bad. You
Go on, have a little try of it. Go on.
It's like juice. I'm not gonna lie.
It does taste a little bit like Parma
Do you want
Violets.
to give it a little sip?
Yeah, I'll have a little try. There we go here.
It's very juice-like.
Once you say Parma Violets, it's like
It is very violety.
Yeah.
Parma Violety.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It does actually taste like black currant and water a little
Yeah.
bit.
And it goes down as quickly.
So there we go.
Well, I'm not driving home tonight.
What have you got there?
I've
It
got
looks
a-
like tomato juice.
Got a Fruity. It's my all-time favourite drink. I flipping love it.
Yeah,
You're
but
not
you,
wrong
you
about
can't.
the tomato juice.
Frulies though, you can only drink like 1 pint surely, and then you just feel absolutely disgusting. They
No,
are very nice.
no more than 2.
Right, is that
Then-
your limit?
well, the thing is, like, especially these days, I get like heartburn. You know,
Oh
the
my
older you
goodness.
get, it's like
Get the Rennies out.
yeah.
I've got like a pack in my glove compartment. In my
Gaviscon?
Just Rennies.
Fine.
Yeah.
So
I usually get
we're
it.
getting old.
It's not quite Gaviscon, but it's like you get them they just look like, you know, like Calpol and stuff like that. It's not Calpol, but you get them in like the Calpol tubes.
Oh, yeah.
I just like sip
Yeah.
that and drink it. It's not good, but
It's not good. I mean,
Rock
that's-
and roll.
Maybe you need to find a new drink. If that's
Yeah,
what's
maybe,
happening every
actually,
time.
yeah.
Stop having Fruities
Yeah.
twice a day.
I know that is it's a bad.
Have
It's a
some
bad
water
diet.
every now and then.
James hasn't touched water since he
No,
was
I
like
haven't.
6.
I just assume everything's got water in it, so like I'm there.
Yeah, it rains enough. So obviously getting yourself on a date, not so much a musician in terms of we're not getting you to play like a song at the end.
Cool. That's good. I haven't
Yeah,
got anything.
As Jay
I
said.
assumed like because you're just the singer, aren't you, of the Heartstrings?
Yeah.
And
That was my question. What is it you do? Who are you? Tell everybody what.
So my name's Frankie. I guess musically I'm most known for being the singer in a band called Frankie The Heartstrings, who are from Sunderland. We had 3 albums to date, I guess, because we're still technically signed. And we were very lucky to, do a lot of things a lot of musicians don't get to do, and we had a really good time doing so. We also founded Pop Rex, so if people are from the area, you'll know that is in existence and it's still going today. But now I spend a lot of my time as a broadcaster, because, as you know, no one makes money out of being a musician anymore.
Pretty much.
So, yeah.
Unless you're stupid like us and play filthies at a flipping 12:30 a.m.
They owe me a pension after last week.
Oh no.
Yeah, I did like 7 to 8 gigs for them.
Yeah, it's a lot of gigs.
You'll not
Just at that venue, though.
You'll not be alive enough to see the flipping pension if you're doing 7 gigs at filthies, man. Honest to fucking God.
We love you guys. So in your band, what kind of music were you?
Are you really?
Yeah,
yeah.
So I guess the original, the kind of idea how we became a band. I'd left uni. I just graduated. I did radio production at Sunderland Uni, and I took over. I was working part time, and I ended up like taking over a bar in Sunderland, which was called the White Room. And at the time, it was all right. It was kind of like-minded people would go. They used to put gigs on there. There was quite a few DJs played there, especially on the weekend. It had a bit of kind of football, casual kind of thing going on there, where people would come before and after the match, and the lads would get in as well. But it was a cool place. It was a safe space, and I ended up, because Ben from Independent, that was his bar, and he asked me to run it for him when I left uni, and I did, and it was great. And at that time, I was just going to gigs locally a lot, so I would, local promoters would put on gigs in there, or Pure upstairs, or at Independent, and I would just go and watch. And then I asked one time, could I DJ between the bands at these gigs, and I ended up doing that more. And that's how I really got to speaking to people. And as you know yourselves, that's when you really make friends, isn't it? When you just start going to gigs and just meeting like-minded people in the same room. And if there's only about 30 people in the room, you end up talking to each other. Yeah. And that's how I really got started locally. I was going to say, getting involved with bands and stuff like that.
Because I first met you at Bar Justice when you did the DJ.
Yeah, so I was DJing around town and stuff like that, just trying to make ends meet. And then I ended up working there for Ben in the White Room, and Michael and Dave, who were co-founders of Frankie The Heartstrings, they came in and they did they used to be promoters there, putting on their favourite bands like we all did. And they were just chatting over the bar one night, and they said, wouldn't it be great if there was a band that sounded a bit like Dexy's Midnight Runners, a bit like Orange Juice, a bit like the Smiths, a bit like Prefab Sprout. And they came from Sunderland, and we said, let's just try it.
You've said that now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the idea, and what our intentions were that night. We said, wouldn't it be great if we could form that band and get a gig in that bar, which I was running. Yeah. So I mean, that was pretty attainable goal, but that was the only goal. And then we went upstairs. In the function room upstairs, it was quite small, never used. We practiced up there a couple of times. We tried a drummer. And I was just playing bass at first. I wasn't the singer or anything. We were just mucking on, really, trying to make a sound. And then we found a lineup. We ended up with a guy called Dennis, who's on bass, who's actually playing bass again in the band. And we also recruited a guy called Pete, who came in on guitar. And Pete was in a band in the 90s called Kinnicky. and he'd kind of done everything before, and he had recording equipment like mics and stuff like that, so he could record demos, which was quite handy.
Yeah.
And then we kind of did a gig, and then we recorded a demo with 4 tracks on. We only had 4 songs. We were doing gigs with like 4 songs, and then this demo. Here's a good Sunderland story for you. Andrew Weatherall, the guy who produced Screamadelica and was a massive influence on the band. He had a record label at the time called Dirty. What's it called? Dirty something. And he was basically at that time. Andrew Weatherall was going through a kind of psychobilly phase, and he was a DJ on Six Music, but he was playing all sorts of stuff. And he's known for being like a club DJ. And there was a collective in Sunderland called Ward 10. And they were putting Andrew Weatherall on at Independent DJing. And at the time, we just recorded this demo that day in Pete's garage. And he burnt it to CD, and I said, I'm going to see Andrew Weatherall tonight at this house night. I'm going to give him the CD of the demo. And we wrote it all out in like Sharpie, who we were, and put Dave, our drummer's mobile number on there. And give him it. Ended up talking to him till like 5 o'clock in the morning backstage about what we were listening to at the time, which was those bands I previously mentioned. And he recommended loads of like 50s stuff for me to go and check out, like Johnny Tilson and Billy Fury, and just really cool UK kitchen sink 50s music, which I did go and check out. Anyway, that was on a Saturday night. The Sunday night, he was on Six Music doing his show. And on the afternoon, he phoned Dave and he says, I've listened to your CD on the way back down to London. It's amazing. I'm gonna play it on me short night on Six Music.
Way.
We'd only done like 3 or 4 gigs at the time.
Yeah.
We were like, this is mint.
That's mad,
and we had a gig in Newcastle that night. I can't remember where it was. It was a place called St Dominic's, which is next to the Tanners at the top end of Biker. It was a weird venue which started putting gigs on for a while, but we were supporting someone. Someone asked us to play for Nout, and we were
Could
like,
be Little Builders now, isn't it?
Yeah, it was that kind of area.
Yeah.
And we just said, yeah, we'll play it. Anyway, so we thought, great, Andrew Weatherall was going to play a song of ours on Six Music that night. And by chance, Pete had like a digital radio in his car. And Pete's sister is Lauren Laverne as well.
Oh, right.
But that wasn't that didn't help at that point.
Yeah.
But I think because his sister was on Six Music, he had a digital radio in his car. And that was quite strange then. But anyway, we were putting some stuff back in the car after the gig. And he thought, let's just put it on and see if we're going to get played. Yeah. And he put it on. And Andrew Weatherall played the first track of the EP and declared us the best new band in Britain. And then played the full EP, the full demo, which was not intended to be an EP or anything. He just played the full 4 tracks. And they were so rough, but he played it in full.
Yeah, that's class, that.
And then we did it. Then after that, we had another gig in Newcastle a week later, and we had like loads of music industry from London, and then we're pretty much signed after like 5 or 6 gigs. Wow. And I'd never been in a band before, so I just assumed that was what happened.
You just join a band, you just kind of
get signed.
Yeah, someone plays your whole demo on radio, and then it was mad. Then it was just a wild ride for like essentially 10 years.
It's kind of like a forgotten age that now, because people don't like record like demos and put them on a CD anymore, do they? They just it's like the way to get access. You've got to just submit your song to, and it's got to be a good song. You can't just have a demo. It's got to be like a fully produced song.
Yeah, radio quality and all that. But no, this was raw as anything, and we just like. But it was so like non-contrived the way we went about it. We recorded a demo that day. I was so psyched about it that I thought, I'm going to take it and give it to one of my favourite producers and DJs on the radio that night. Yeah. And I just give him it, and then talking for ages, and we were having genuine conversation all night.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he listened to it on the way home and then played it on the radio the next night, it was like, it changed all our lives essentially as well, Yeah. It was mad.
That's mental. That like.
Are you still with the same band members as when you started? Was there any shake-ups?
So I mean, the original members was myself, Michael on guitar, Dave on drums, who sadly died a couple of years ago, and Dennis on bass. Now we've just announced Pop Rex, this thing we made. That's in its 10th year, so we're doing a 10-year anniversary of Pop Rex gig, and we thought Frankie The Heartstrings should play it. So we're doing that. So we've been practicing recently, and it is the original lineup, but sort of the original lineup, because Ross from the Future Heads has been in the band just as long as anyone as well, because Ross joined on the second album, was it? I think. So he's been here forever, really.
Yeah, it's
Which is mad,
yeah.
because he was in the Futureheads all that time as well, and he still is in the Futureheads as well. So Ross is on guitar. Michael's on guitar as well. So Pete's not in the band anymore. Although we have asked him to come back and do a little cameo on this 10-year anniversary gig. Dennis is back on bass, and we've got Peter from Field Music on drums doing Dave's bits.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who actually did it once when Dave was at a foreign kind of wedding or something once.
Yeah.
So he's done it once before. But yeah.
It's almost like a Sunderland supergroup, isn't it?
Yeah,
really? Like,
but it's been nice to get back together and play with the lads and do the songs. So yeah, it's sort of the same lineup, but it's been a kind of revolving door over the years of like, we had a guy called Mick Ross he was on guitar for a few years as well, and bass players. Dennis left after this second or third album record. I can't remember how it happened, but we had another guy called Michael on bass, Michael Matthews. We also had a guy called Simon Hubbard on bass as well, and Hubb's in like every single band of the Northeast now. I don't think I've missed anyone out there, but hopefully we're going to try and get everyone involved in this 10-year anniversary podcast.
Kind of rotating.
Well, maybe just get them all up for the encore or something like that. So it's organised chaos at least. But yeah, I mean, wild ride really.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you had your song "Hunger" that was on the Domino's advert, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was just right. So our first album is called Hunger, and the biggest single on that album is called Hunger as well. Now, contrary to common misconception, that song is actually named and written about a 1900. It's Knut Hamsun is the author. He's like a Norwegian novelist, and he wrote this story called Hunger. And it was all about striving, and you know when you're most creative, when you're at your most desperate almost.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? When you've got nothing, is
just,
when it's the most rich you can be in ideas and stuff like that. It was all about that, but by chance. Domino's Pizza used that song. I mean, it was a hit with a silent S, right? But it got used on like, I mean, it was on Radio 1 all the time and stuff like that. It got used on TV for loads of stuff, and then Domino's Pizza was like, "Oh, can we use this song for our advert for like a year?" And then they relicensed it for another year. So we were like, "Cool." I mean, at the time as well, it was when bands were starting to do that more because record advances were coming less and less and less. But I think we were the last generation of bands to get a record deal, which got us out of our jobs, and we were doing it full time. Then we got a publishing deal on top of that.
Yeah.
But it all kind of went into one pot, and we all just drip fed ourselves like a small amount every month, so we could sustain it for a lot longer. And then anything else that came on top of that, like gig fees and licensing deals and sync deals, and that, they all just went in the pot, and that's how we sustained it for so long. So we never had like a Ferrari or anything like that.
No. I mean, you've got to do
I've
what
got a
you're
smart
way. Smart way to do it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because I was in college when that song came out, and it was like kind of like it was similar with like the Futureheads, where I thought there's actually like bands from Sunderland play like that. It gives people like who's just getting into music. It gives me kind of like hope, thinking, oh, maybe you don't have to go all the way down to London.
Do you know what I've always said? The Futureheads made it easy for us because they had been signed for 5 or 6 years before us, so that made it easier for us. Kinnicky had done it in the 90s. There was all sorts of acts in the 80s, all the punk stuff in the 70s. So there's always been a little bit of a look at Sunderland and see what the next thing is. Northeast, should we say? But it definitely makes it easier for people, the more people from that area which is successful. However, I'd always say as well, the reason why people from the Northeast, particularly Sunderland, have been successful, including ourselves, is because we've never been seen to be fashionable. And if you're never fashionable, you're never going to go out of fashion, are you?
Yeah, that's true.
So you always sound unique at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, when we broke through, there was all those bands that were called something club and stuff like that, or by chance we were called Ander, but we were trying to play on the 50s thing because we were going down like a 50s kind of vibe as well a little bit. And because we didn't sound like new rave, or we didn't sound like who was coming through at the time, I can't remember who was big, I don't know, but we didn't sound like the London bands or the Manchester bands. So we instantly stood out because we sounded we sounded like all of those 80s bands I mentioned before. So we stood out because we weren't fashionable. And you know, if you're never fashionable, you never go out of fashion. I always like to say.
So here was the rumour. I'm sure it was in college when Hunger came out. But anyway, whether it was or not, the rumour was that to get the deal you did with Domino's was that you got free Domino's for life
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well,
But you didn't like Domino's, so you never...
well, apparently, right. So they did sort us out a few times, and we would do that thing where we were on tour, and we'd be like, tweet. They were like, "Oh God, we're so hungry. Wouldn't it be great if our like friends at Domino's would sort us out?" A few times that happened, right?
Oh, I see.
And then occasionally we'd ask them and say, "Can we get some vouchers and stuff like that?" And they're like, "Yeah, fine." And it would help out when you're on the road, obviously, which we were quite a lot. But legend has it that one black card was sent to our label/management company.
Yeah, that was what I heard. Like,
And that person who was in possession of this black card has free Domino's for life. I've never seen it.
oh, nice. Well, there we go.
I've never seen it.
It's obviously some CEO executive who doesn't really need free Domino's, but they're just like...
Or maybe been an intern who stole it in the mail.
Oh, that could have been... I just picked it up
Which
the
is
mail.
fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough if that's happened. But yeah, what was weird about that was everyone says, "Oh, the song was on the Domino's advert." Do you know what was weird? No one remembers this. My vocal was taken off it, so the chorus line was on it. Like that was on, but my vocal, like they took my vocal off the verse.
Yeah.
And John Cooper Clarke, the famous Manchester poet guy, he did this kind of like poem over the top about like pizzas and stuff. So like, it took me off. They put John Cooper Clarke on, and a few people questioned our integrity over that point and said, "Why are we letting Domino's Pizza use your music?" I always say, if you use it or you're likely to use a product and you wouldn't mind using it in your normal life, that's fine to be endorsed by that thing.
That's it. Yeah, it's like,
you know. So but then no one questioned John Cooper Clarke, who was just hoid on our track.
talk about flipping pizzas.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, it was great, and that sync deal helped sustain us for a lot longer than probably we would have been sustained for. And then ultimately you get in people's ears, so when you end up playing that song, the album charted in the proper charts and stuff like that. It all helped, you know. And that's fine. If you're getting music on an advert, that's a win these days.
Yeah.
At the time, it was still a little bit like, ooh, sold out a little bit.
Well,
no one gives a shit now.
It's an in thing now. When you just look at like say flipping Kevin Bacon. He makes an absolute fortune, I reckon. Just like he probably makes more money doing the EE adverts than he does doing like a film.
Yeah.
I reckon.
No, it's a real win though now for bands and artists to get the music. I mean, where the hell do you put your music otherwise?
Yeah.
Radio stations are closing down. There's no music press anymore. You can't get your videos on TV because MTV doesn't actually show music videos anymore. There's no wins anymore for bands. The only wins you can get is if you got a good sync. Like what kind of guy, a sync guy we call them, but essentially it's someone who works for your publishers. If someone's out there trying to license your music and you get on an advert, that's a real win because you get a lump and your music's played everywhere and people can Shazam it and then you get the streams as well.
Yeah.
So it's a real like amazing kind of thing to get now. At the time when we got it, and we're only talking about 12 years ago or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, it does seem like the way technology is now, though, it is like a literal lifetime away. Like it feels it anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
and the game's moved so much in the time we've been in a band. It's mad. Like what we charted with, I think we got like where was it, like 28 maybe in the charts or something with the album, like in the proper charts.
Yeah.
And we sold like tens of thousands of albums. It's like if that happened now, we'd be number one for like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, I know.
That's mad, isn't it?
It is mental.
So yeah, that's my life so far.
And now
It's a good life, though, to be fair, you know.
I haven't told you the shit bits yet.
We've got 2 more parts. Yeah, beforehand, I would say, before we recorded, we were mentioning you guys not so much nominated, but were floating around a Mercury Award. And then, did you win the AIM Awards?
Yeah, so like on the first album, we were nominated for like loads of stuff and mentioned like, oh, this is going to be like possibly nominated for the Mercury and stuff like that. And we were like, we were in Enemy's like top bands of 2010, like they do like 10 names. They used to do 10 bands every year, and we were one of them. We seemed to be in every magazine doing that when music magazines existed. Like we were just everywhere, and to be honest, like it wasn't warranted, I don't think, to that point. I mean, we only had a collection of songs, a handful of songs, before we ended up like realizing we were in the machine, if you like. But obviously the people who were around us saw something in us and thought, well, these guys have got something like which is worth investing in, which I guess what a record deal is. Someone's investing in you, aren't they? So thanks to them. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was mad that time. But we also, the AIM Award, we got a couple of times. We actually got it on the second album because of the work we did with Pop Rex. We got this nice nomination for the hardest working band, which we literally were, because when we weren't on tour, we were building Pop Rex like in our spare time. We worked so hard that on the second album. And commercially, it wasn't as big a hit. We probably spent too long making the second album, if I'm honest.
That's usually you got to try and like better do
yeah.
like, and
the thing is, James,
too much of it.
You
like,
get 25 years to make your first album. You get 6 months to make your second
yeah,
one.
that's it.
So, I mean, it was an amazing experience. We made our first record with, one of those bands I mentioned. So, the reason we started the band was to sound a bit like Orange Juice, Dexys Midnight Runners, and the Smiths. We made our first album with Edwin Collins, who was the guy behind Orange Juice. And if you haven't heard Edwin Collins, you'll definitely heard of Never Met a Girl Like You Before. So, he was a total idol. We ended up pretty much living with him and making our first record down in London with him. The second album, we ended up working for a long time with Bernard Butler, who was a massive guitar hero of ours as well. He was in Suede and made his own records and amazing records with David McCalmont as well. And the third record we did a completely different way, where we just found a really good engineer and a good room, because we thought we knew it all. But I mean, we ended up working with loads of people who we wanted to work with. We ended up touring with loads of people we admired as well. We toured with pretty much everyone. We were really good live, and I still don't think we nailed it on the record, like how good we were live.
It's a different like eyes. I like. There's one reason I hate like doing the recording studio, because I'm a guy who loves energy and stuff like that. It's really hard to rap. But there was another band. They were called. Funny enough, they were called the Parma Violets.
Yeah, they were around a similar time.
But their records were just they were quite like, I liked them. I liked the songs and stuff like that. But if you compare it to live, it was a different.
Yeah,
entity,
it's hard. I think they were quite similar to us, and similar kind of circles and stuff like that, and Quartered by Enemy and stuff like that. So, and they had a bit of London cool about them though, so that made their little lives a little bit easier. I think, nevertheless, they still probably worked hard, but. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to capture with something you do live, no matter how much you get into it. And sometimes, my experience of being in the studio is torturous sometimes, because I would essentially go in on the first day to do the guide vocals on the drum tracks, and then come out and not do anything for like 6 weeks, sometimes like a year, like, but I'd be there the whole time, so I didn't just play a lot of FIFA in like the green room or whatever, like, or we were spending a lot of time in these studios, like weeks and stuff like that. It was an amazing experience now looking back, living down in London and just living like a proper musician would. But I think back now, I think over the years, so much time and money has been wasted in the music industry, because bands aren't ready to go in. We weren't probably ready to go in, but we had to make a record because of all the hype and stuff like that. We had the songs pretty much. I remember we wrote probably a couple of the first album in the studio or on the road, which is never good really. It's good to test it out in front of people on the road, but it's never good to rely on that, I think. So, I don't know. I mean, everything about the band I look back on now with immense pride, who we played with and where we went with the band. But because of those humble kind of first ideals and goals, and everything else was a bonus.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, your next album, you thought about, it should just be alive. Just get one of these Zoom players. Yeah, just put it in a practice room and just
that's the thing,
go back to your basics,
But that's the thing. Like, I was there for the guide tracks, and we do like maybe 3 or 4 runs through, and then we get like the bones of the drums down on the guide track, and then we'd add the bass. Normally, this is how we would work. We'd never play it to a click, although we did end up working to a click to a certain extent on the second album. Dave just didn't like playing to a click bit. Essentially,
I hate clicks,
but. Most producers now prefer you to play to a click. Essentially, I think because it's easier to edit.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. It is that like much easier to edit, but it's just.
I think you feel like you lose something there. Then.
Yeah, because you're not. I always go faster towards the end, and it just like. When you're losing the click, you think, I had a really good take there, but because you're not with the click, it's like...
So with the band, once that first guide track was down, that essentially sets the tone. Yeah. No matter how long you spend on it, that's the tone and that's the pace and that's the energy there from that moment.
That's it,
So it doesn't matter what you try and do, how many overlays you do, or how many mad sounds you find, it's always going to be that same energy on that take. So I think there's something for... We did do a live EP, actually. One of our first releases was a live 10-inch, recorded at Independent. We made like 200 of them. I don't even own one, but that was cool because we were talking in between the songs. It was like an old-fashioned kind of like field recording of, I guess, of sorts. But I mean, energy's really hard to capture, isn't it?
It is,
especially like when you're having a good gig, and you know you're playing the same songs as you did last time you did a gig, but sometimes it just you just get on the same vibe as the audience.
Yeah, that's when.
Maybe you can't catch it. I don't know.
I think you can. I think it's like, I mean, I've got a few like live vinyls. One of them more notably the Bob Marley live at the Lyceum.
Yeah.
And you can feel like you can feel the audience and you can feel the music.
That's a good example. Thin Lizzy live and Dangerous. Apparently there's overdubs in that.
There was quite,
and that's one of the most famous live records ever.
So
even that's not. It's a little bit contrived, isn't it?
That started out. I think it was Gary Moore just going like, actually, I mucked that little. Can I just do just a little overtake there? And then the bass was like, well, if he's doing that, then
there you go. It's gone.
And then you just like, then the drummer's like, oh, Mr. Phil there. I'll just kind of like so it ends up just being a. But the thing is though, if it's one of the most popular live albums, maybe it's because the initial energy was captured within the thing, and they've just kind of improved it.
Yeah, that's what they'll say.
Yeah, that would be the excuse.
I'd like the scratchiness around it. That's why I love listening to like. I fell in love with radio because I fell in love with John Peel.
Oh yeah.
Accidentally found John Peel one night when I was a kid camping out in my garden, and I came across John Peel at Glastonbury, and that totally blew my mind. But then I, went on to find Peel sessions and stuff like that. And I feel like Peel sessions, they just kind of let everything just hit record and let it go. And you'd hear little bits of chat in and out the tracks. You'd have a conversation with John Peel as well if he was present at the recording. When we did our BBC sessions, they were so strict. Like we had to do like retakes, and they were really conscious of like playing like in tune and stuff like that. I mean, as we progress in our careers, we realised we had to be a lot more in tune than we were at the beginning. But like, I remember like doing Made of Ale sessions and stuff like that, and the engineers from the BBC would be like, "No, go again. One of you's out of tune," and it'd be like such a fraction. And again, but that lost the character of our band.
Yeah,
we weren't trying to sound like you two. We were trying to sound like four mates who just found some instruments and were trying to sing songs about their ex-girlfriends.
It's like essentially robots, alright.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, live sounds really hard to capture. Maybe, maybe it's never possible.
No, maybe. But I want to do a live album. That's gonna be my.
I've always said live is better, because I feel like if you enjoy an album, you can always go back to the album, but you want somebody to see you live and go, I go back to that live, and always go back to it. I'm doing like a bunch of live shows at the minute, and I had I'm planning to release a live EP at the end of it, and my most, I'd say famous track, my most favoured track, what I do is I perform live with a loop pedal, and one of the riffs, I'm a semitone out of key, and everything's fine, except you just hear it go, but I'll still end up releasing it. But I feel like the imperfections are what make live.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
That's it. I never get my words right. I'm always mucking up my words.
Well, I'm in a privileged position now where bands come and do sessions for my radio shows and stuff like that, and if people are having a run through and they go, at the end after I've finished press record or whatever, and they go, I think I mucked up on the first verse or whatever, I think I slightly said the wrong word, or I think I hit the top string by accident or whatever like that, I'm just like, this is a session. It's meant to sound like a session. It's meant to sound like you've just got an acoustic guitar at the back of the van and you come into a radio studio. It's not meant to sound like Beatles, Abbey Road recordings, you know what I mean?
That's what I want to do. That's because we do like the pub table sessions after this, and that's the idea of that is basically kind of you've had a few drinks and it's like the lock-in where someone's just singing a song like round a table. So it's not supposed to be perfect. It's just supposed to be kind of like people. I think I mucked it. It's like it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Capture the moment. And do you know what? I always found if we ever like fucked up on stage. Sorry, I swore. But I always found if you ever like messed up with a big gig, it kind of endeared you more to the audience. Especially if you kind of laughed at yourself, and you'd be like, like imagine like we did some amazingly huge gigs somehow, and like if I forgot the lyrics or something like that, and I'd say it at the end of the song, did you notice I forgot the lyrics in the middle of that, and everyone just start like laughing along with us, or if you're a little bit like self-deprecating about it, like people endeared you more, and then you had a bit more rapport with the audience, and there's loads of people that over time have done that. Like I think Jonathan Richmond does that quite a lot. Someone who we used to reference, and I mean, look at the Fall. Like Mark E. Smith, he would just like sometimes just forget to sing on a song because he's too busy fiddling with people's pedals and that. People want an experience, which they
want a show.
If they want to listen to the CD, they just do that in the house. But they want a show, but they also want something unique to take away and say, or when I went to see him 20 years ago, this happened and he came off stage during that song and he came over to the front row and this happened and he ended up talking for longer than the song was. Those are the things that people remember.
Yeah, that's it,
You know?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah, I think we'll call that part 1. And
Get
back to part 2.
Aye.
After this.
I'll, hang on.
Hold on.
Hang on.
Fred again here.
There we go. See you in a bit.
Cool. A really good part, that.
Hello there.
Hi, guys. We are here to tell you about our festival. On the 17th of June this year, from 2 o'clock at the Ship Isis, we are hosting our very first Off the Stage Fest.
We certainly
James,
are.
tell them who we've got.
We have headlining the Neo-Electrics.
Woo! Most people go headline last, but go on.
We've all. I don't know how to do this. It's the first festival we'll bloody hosted.
We have Yuma, Sam Shields, Josh Hennigan, Philip Jonathan, Black Moss, Electric Circus, and Fire Lady Luck. And then on our final 3 acts of the night, we have
Fail to Ignite.
LN. And who's headlining, James?
The Neo-Electrics.
Oh, you never heard that before. It's going to be no fixed fee. You just walk in, you pay a donation, whether you want to pay a penny or you want to pay £1 million or even more, by all means. We don't take a cut. It all goes to the acts. If you pay $1 million, we might take a little sample. But realistically, no, we're not going to take anything. It's going to be given to the acts, split equally, and there'll be a separate tip jar as well.
Absolutely.
On the stage. If you can make it all day, make it all day. If you can't, doors open at 2. Well, doors probably open like 1:30 really.
Yeah,
the first
1:30.
act's on at 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of all we need to say.
Yeah,
Turn up, Ship Isis in
yeah.
Sunderland.
And this camera's fucking wonky, I've just realised.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
you look taller for once.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And either enjoy the rest of the pod, or I hope you enjoyed the episode. I don't know where this clip comes into it.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see you on the 17th of June.
See you later.
I've forgotten I'm meant to be going out for a meal with me mother-in-law.
Sorry, I've got to go.
And then I was like,
I'll
hang out at Soundcheck and I'll take you for a beer and show you some pubs and something, but then I'm going to have to go. And they were just like, we understand. I've seen them about 1,000 times anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
And it was sold out, so I didn't feel so bad. It's when there's like 2 people there.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
Text me
Because
I'm
you-
going to have to stay at the end. There's like 2 people. Definitely going to say a stick.
Because you feel it's like if it's a sold out show, you can make like an inconspicuous exit.
Loads of times when I interview people for Amazing Radio or BBC, like they'll say, "Oh, do you want to come down to the show?" And it'll be like the Academy or something. And you'll be like, "Great, I don't even have to show up." In fact, I'll say to my mates, "Does anyone want to go to see this? I've got +1." Like, it happens all the time. Or if I do go, I'm just like, "Right, there's half an hour." Like, disappear out the back. Don't feel so bad about them ones.
Have to keep an eye on if you come to one of my gigs. I'll shout you out at the very end.
Yeah, don't do that.
Frankie, where you at?
I will definitely be there at the beginning.
Thing is, like you get to our age as well. You like to have the curtains drawn, and you like to be in your pajamas at night.
I want to catch up on Succession.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, it's incredible. It's really good.
Because people keep talking about how like
Very good. I'd say stick with it though. The first couple of episodes, you'd be like, "This is shit. Why is everyone talking about this?" But then it gets you.
Yeah,
It's good. It's kind of like real life Rupert Murdoch family situation.
Ooh, all right.
And the kind of politics which goes with the power and the family behind it. It's essentially what's based on.
All right, okay. So I'm gonna have to watch that.
Very good acting as well. It's very funny, but it's not meant to be funny either.
It's like honestly, I've heard loads of people going on about, but when I've asked what's it about, you just got to watch it.
Nah.
It's like, well, I'd like to know the kind of
It's
the synopsis.
about media mogul kind of thing, and he's his kind of like essentially like his kind of who's going to be the heir to the throne. Because he's a very powerful person, isn't he?
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch, and that's essentially who it's based on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right, cool. Right,
Sorry.
that's one for the checklist, Kat. I know you watch.
Are you recording this here?
Yeah, I'm recording this. Hang on, we'll be formally back now in 3, 2, 1. We're back in the room.
We're back, baby!
Thanks, Dan. That was a former guest. I asked him to do like can you do like a "We're back, baby"? But so he did that.
Wow, it's very good.
Yeah. Honestly, you should.
Brian Johnson.
I always says he should have been like some sort of like sound kind of
Or like a hype
character.
guy.
Yeah.
Get him a fiver.
Honestly, if he'd make a fortune just doing like weird kind of like sound effects and stuff like that.
So if you fancy adding to a sound bite,
Yeah, fine.
I don't know what to do, but
what to do. I mean, I could email you.
So we've got this one as well. We've got the stage.
Classic Northeast sounds.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're trying to keep it, like local.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So part 2, we normally have a couple like Instagram questions, but we didn't get many.
Sorry about that.
We did
I'm
get.
not famous.
We got one that was because obviously when we shared your account, your socials was at Frankie ____.
Yeah.
The question was, do you find many issues with using multiple underscores at the end of an account?
I didn't. No, I don't. Do you know what? Think about socials, like especially my own socials. Like I really sometimes hate playing the game, but I understand in the game I'm in, I have to push myself on the socials and the work I do, or else no one will ever know about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's 4 underscores after my name. Kind of
3.
comes. Is it? No, I think it's 4.
Is it?
Oh.
I always thought 3 was
You've
the
tagged the
magic
wrong
number.
person. That's why you got no questions.
That's true.
Yeah, it's 4.
Quickly check.
And I was until recently. I was verified on Twitter.
Oh,
but
no,
then Elon took my Twitter, my
only
blue
8,
tweet away.
However many that is.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever been an issue, or maybe that's why I'm working 5 jobs because no one's found me on Instagram.
Yeah.
But that's it. The issue is I don't know how many underscores that is.
It's 4
How can you tell?
because I made it about 12 years ago.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I did 3, but I don't think there's anyone else with 4. So obviously it just found you with the 3.
That's good.
It just assumed
I
that you had
exist.
an extra underscore.
Yeah, I
Wonder if
probably
they
need to
copy
up
and
my
paste it.
Instagram thing. I don't put enough things on my grid. I always think like, what is worthy of the grid?
Yeah, I know, and it's you know what? It's the pressure of thinking, oh, you've got to, because nowadays they say you've got to post like 4 times a flipping day, and so it's like, well, what do you do to post 4 times
I don't
a
want
day?
to put
It's
people
like,
through that.
Yeah, no, neither do I. Like,
But I was told recently I need to work on my brand.
All right.
because everyone's a brand now. That's it's not your music isn't enough. You've got to sell yourself.
Yeah, but I'm really uncomfortable doing that. So what I might do is really cynically work on my brand.
But what we did was start a podcast.
Now we have a pint every week.
But the brand's grown, guys.
getting there.
That's it,
You are working on it.
Next question we got was from Mrs. Berry Beauty, which you might recognise.
Yeah, that's the wife.
Hi, honey.
Who currently would you say your favourite Northeast band is?
Ooh.
If you wanted to give like a top 3 or something, but
That's on the spot question.
Yeah, this is a bit of an on the spot question. I'm trying to think. Well, my single of the week last week on Amazing Radio was Swine Tax featuring Robin from Big Fat Big. They did a single together called Annual Leave, which I played before it was out.
they were on our playlist once, weren't they?
Yeah,
were.
but I'm not
put
sure
them
if that
on,
track
yeah.
is actually out yet, but it's really good. It sounds a bit like the B-52s, but that's a good combination of Northeast acts.
Yeah.
In recent times, the Pit Pony album was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. It came out on Clue Records, which is like a Leeds-based indie label. Northeast. I mean, there's I always forget about the obvious ones when they get asked this question because there's so many, and I'm constantly playing them on the radio and stuff
be
like
like,
that.
oh shit, that's the one I forgot to mention.
There's loads, but I think what's exciting is there's lots of people doing good stuff in the Northeast.
We've noticed that. Honestly, I don't know if it's just kind of like after lockdown and stuff, but I've noticed. I'm sure someone else mentioned it the other one of the podcasts saying, kind of noticed there's more people actually coming to gigs nowadays, like local gigs, and
that's good. But there's loads, and it's all different genres. So like, I played at the fire station a couple of months ago as part of Faye Fantaro's benefit gig.
Yeah.
And she's great as well, Faye, by the way. But there was a rapper guy called Reality. He's amazing. There's a jazz act called Archipelago, which are really out there. They're really great. There's Benefits from Stockton, and they sound a bit like the Northeast version of Sleaford Mods. They're really good. I mean, every genre seems to be ticked. There's a guy called Soli who's really smashing it in the DJ world, and there's other people. So I think lots of genres are represented, more so than they've ever been, which I think is a massive, great thing what's happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's down to. Maybe just people feel like they can do that more.
Yeah.
And
Possibly,
push themselves because of socials and equipment's
it's both,
cheaper than it's ever been to some extent. You know, anyone could make a record.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, as far like social media, it's both a lot easier and a lot harder. It's easier just to get your music out there, but because it's easier to do that,
everyone's doing it.
It's very saturated.
What was that stat? Like Spotify get like, is it 100,000 songs a day get uploaded to Spotify around the world?
That. It's just
that's insane.
It's unsustainable, isn't it? Although I've heard there's Spotify, Spotify don't get as many young listeners.
Ooh.
So like,
it's quite a worrying thing. Do they go to YouTube?
You know what? I think it's SoundCloud.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to work my SoundCloud game.
Yeah, I know. I'm wanting to make a SoundCloud because obviously it's TikTok as well.
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed some guy called Michael Aldag last week on My Amazing Radio Show, and his Spotify numbers are really low, but he's got nearly 1 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
And he's just sold out a UK tour, and he essentially is a TikTok artist, huge on TikTok.
Yeah.
And his socials and everything else, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify numbers, are so low.
Yeah, it's
its own thing.
But like TikTok, it's like, I mean, I don't know how long that's going to last for, because the minute it gets like inevitably banned in America, which is what they're kind of wanting to do. Yeah. I don't know what will happen after that. But apparently as well, the other thing, YouTube Shorts apparently is making it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go to YouTube. I still, you know what? I find myself going to YouTube quite a lot for reference and finding music. If I can't find it on Spotify, chances are someone's uploaded it to YouTube with a thumbnail or whatever, and kids also access music through YouTube.
Yeah,
it's free.
Yeah,
to a certain extent, if you can wait and skip an ad every now and again, I think it's free.
Yeah, I think
everyone's got YouTube.
I think that's what it is. It's like the kids, they don't want to spend £10 a month on Spotify or Apple when they can use SoundCloud, they can use TikTok, and they can talk to the artists, and the artists that they like are most likely going to be like, I really like this song.
Yeah,
you're going to get a comment from the artist, and it's like a bit more of that brand. It's the connection, connecting with the audience. But we're obviously I think we're a little bit too old of the game, to be fair. Like, I'm still old-fashioned. Like,
we kind of missed it. Like when our first record, we sold more on CD album and stuff like that. We made records, like they all came out on vinyl because we're all massive vinyl heads. But we sold CDs. Our first record sold loads of CDs, like tens of thousands of CDs. Like, no one sells CDs really anymore. Like, and you know, you can't get CDs.
I can't physically play.
It's streams,
CD.
Isn't it? And so we were kind of around before Spotify took off.
Yeah.
So like some of our songs, if they'd been on Spotify the whole time, would have millions more plays. Yeah. Like some of them had a few million, but like they would be the tenfold maybe, because when they were popular, when that song was popular, it wasn't streamed.
Yeah.
But you got a lot more money for the CDs, to be fair. Like,
yeah, it's true.
But you know, you can't put your Spotify got 1,000,001 views.
Yeah, it's crap. I mean, I think the game's got to change because it's unsustainable the way it is.
Yeah.
If you had a sausage factory and no one bought sausages, the sausage factory would shut.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's essentially what every musician in the world's doing, unless you're Ed Sheeran. Like,
yeah, it's
no one's buying the music.
I think that's another thing as well, because the only way you make music, like make money now, really from music, is gigs and merchandise, and all. I mean, they've all cottoned on now. I mean, you hear the stories now. The venues charging commission just.
You know, the big ones have always done that. The big ones have always done it, but the smaller ones are starting to do it as well, because you know, there's in some cases they having to pay more for the beers and they have to pay more for rent, so everything they try and tax everything, you know, and. Sometimes we encountered that on the big tours we did. I used to say on mic, it was like, we aren't going to play. We're not going to pay the merch tax in here. So if you want to buy some merch, come see us at the van afterwards.
Yeah.
And we would sell loads more because we were selling it directly to them and signing everything as we sold it as well.
Because I never, if I ever go to a gig now, I'll always try, if I can afford it, to get a T-shirt. Because before I used to get the CD and then go to the gig, but now I don't get the CD. I still want to give the musicians that I like some money, so I'll buy a T-shirt.
Do that because it's so important. Like you buying a T-shirt at a gig means that they can put the fuel in the van the next day and stuff like that. It means so much. And you know, vinyl sales are going up. We do. Yeah. But it's another form of revenue for bands. It's never going to be overpast the sales of CDs were in the 90s. And I mean, that was just obscene. But like, the more merch you buy for your favourite band, if you go and see a gig, you buy like a Daft cap, or they've got some mad socks made, or they've got a T-shirt made, buy it, because that'll sustain the band to the next gig. And even if it just pays for the dinners the next day, or they're able to go out for a curry on the day off, do it. It's so important. It's so important because chances are they're not getting paid that much for the gig. If it's a smaller gig, which we've all played, 25, 30, 50 people, the reserve's crap because the promoters dropped you in it and haven't promoted the gig that
yeah,
well.
Oh God, I don't.
And you're paying for essentially nothing. You've already hired the van. I mean, we must have spent thousands of pounds on vans over the years. That costs a fortune now. The band are always the last to get paid. The guy driving the van gets paid. He's already agreed a fee.
Yeah.
So when we've been on massive tours, the sound guy, the lighting guy, the guy driving the van, the guy renting the van, they all get the cheese. Sometimes we come out with nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why merch is important.
Yeah.
So buy it.
Yeah.
And make it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was thinking about that day, like off the stage merch? I feel like we need a bit of a following before we can get that. But
yeah, well, Do
you know that there's a fact? I don't know if it's true or not, but there was an urban myth that the streets, Mike Skinner, the streets, they made more money off selling lighters at gigs than they did ever from record sales because they had those little clipper lighters and they had the streets on, and they'd sell thousands of them at like a couple of quid each. And everyone on the way out of a gig was like, "I'll just get a lighter for a couple of quid," but everyone did it.
Yeah.
So they made like
that's clever.
thousands of pounds of that. So something tangible, a memento, a couple of quid. But now even in another situation we've never found ourselves in because no one carries cash anymore.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a chip and pin machine on the merch stall.
Yeah, you get them from W.H. Smith now, though.
What, chip and pin machines?
Yeah, chip and pin machines. They're easy. It's like it's a Bluetooth receiver. So basically, you connect it to your bank account.
Yeah.
And then like your Bluetooth on your phone. So you type in the number. You type in how much it is on your phone. It's like you download an app.
Yeah.
And then it connects to the chip and pin machine. They do the.
So you're buying something physical like a chip and pin machine thing.
It's like a contactless thing. So you contactless it, and it uploads to your bank.
Amazing.
It's clever.
I've got one called like a sum up. I think I paid like £25 for the machine, and then it takes like a 0.02%.
Oh yeah, that's the standard bank charge. That's all like shops do that and stuff like that.
Great. I need to get one of them. We're selling merch at that gig. I need to get one.
Get yourself a chip and pin machine, honestly. Just
absolutely.
Bluetooth chip and pin machine. You can probably just get them off Amazon or something like that as well, to be fair.
I'm going to do this. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your advice.
So, this is what we're here for.
Before we pull the end of part 2, James normally has a couple of like questions from Reddit. He gets random musicians who are just moaning online with no answers, and we
try and answer the questions.
Give them some answers.
Okay. I've got one here.
What do you got, James?
I like to kind of try with some sort of like theme of the podcast, and I've got one here. If it loads up, hang on. Yep. By Horny but Disappointed. It's his username. That's not me.
I think I know them.
I thought because you do pop recs and stuff, you'd try and build in a community. This Horny but Disappointed asks from r/musicians, can I get ahead without a community? No. But we'll read it anyway. Besides all the technical and theoretical aspects of making music, there was also necessity of belonging and being surrounded by like-minded musicians. I'm not in a place where I have a community or even friends to jam with, and I'm scared that I won't make it too far like this, or that what I do won't be good or relevant. What should I do? Just start out and promote myself with the things I get done? Do I have any chance of connecting with others as I go along? I'm not sure how many musicians nowadays find each other over the internet, rather through attending the same events and going to the same schools or places. So I think he's saying he's got no friends, or he's got no like-minded musicians that he's around. How does he make music, or how does he get into the music industry without actually, getting bands and stuff like that? How does he do that without a community, or can he do that without a community? It's quite long-winded, but I don't know.
Connection for me seem to be one of the important things of the industry.
Yeah,
it's a lot of who you know. It's
a social,
right place, right time kind of thing, and stuff.
Yes, to some extent, but I still think if you were to just go along, like there will be a collective, or there will be a promoter putting gigs on in the town or village where he's from. Even in the most remote village, there's someone putting a gig on in a pub. Yeah, you just go down there, you paying, right? So you're investing in that local scene and economy. You buy a pint, and then go and watch the bands who is on, or a guy playing some songs, and then tell them what kind of music you're into, and if you're good enough, they might say, well, why don't you come and bring your guitar next time? Or it doesn't matter. Like, well, I remember when I first started going to gigs in Sunderland, like there'd be just the maddest, like, so there'd be like post-hardcore bands supported by singer-songwriters, supported by kind of indie electro acts and stuff like that. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
It was all about getting as many. Maybe that would help get more people down sometimes because of different crowds coming down.
Yeah,
let the sweaties on with the indie kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not?
Peace and harmony.
But everyone's still trying to do the same thing, which is to try and create an environment of like-minded people who just want to have a good time. I've never had an issue with that personally.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I was going to say, Dr. Nukenstein commented, you'd be surprised how many musicians are in your area that are in the same boat. Promote yourself locally, look for local jams. That's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
He says he's into songwriting and rapping a bit, but he loves a bit of funk and improvisation. So, I'm sure.
If he's into that, you definitely go to a
genre.
jam. If you're into funk and improvising, you
and
can definitely jam out with anyone.
Absolutely. There you go. So there you go, horny but disappointed. You'd be disappointed no longer.
But still horny.
I can't one out of two problems.
I can't help you with that, unfortunately.
You got any others?
Maybe, I don't know. Hang on. Here's a good one. Singer-songwriter to band. Should I go by my name, make a band name, or do both?
Ooh, I always wondered this. If I ever went solo,
Yeah.
what would I do? Would I just be called Frankie of the Heartstrings, or would I just be called Frankie Francis? I think I would try and create an alias of something completely
Just
alternative. I like that
just
because I don't know. I don't know whether your name penetrates enough these days, unless you're Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Then everyone knows who you are. But there's quite a lot of singer-songwriters. You guys know there's a lot of singer-songwriters out there, and you gain your reputation. Your name is your reputation, isn't it?
Yeah,
But I think maybe if I was going to do it, I'll be trying to try a little bit more mystique around it. That's the angle I would come in with. But you guys are far down the track for that, maybe.
I don't know. Well,
let's just start a new project tonight.
Well, I had a project that was just a weird name and stuff like that. But I changed. Like, my band name is James Berry and like what you did. But that's pretty much because obviously this podcast gets thrown around a little bit more than what I post. So I think if my name's in the podcast, then I'm more likely to get
Free promo, innit?
Yeah. That's basically my only reason for it, really.
I would just say about our band name, I didn't suggest that my name was in the band name.
I think it's cool though. Like, I don't know.
But we were played with loads of different kind of names and thoughts. In fact, we were once listed. I don't know if I get away with it anymore, but we were once listed to play a gig before we'd done a gig as the new groomers. Right, and we meant it in terms of this is what we meant. We meant we were well groomed. But then about that time, that U-Tree operation exploded, and loads of bad people came out, and they were classed as groomers because of the way that they groomed these kids or whatever. So we quickly decided not to have that name.
You dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. And then we were trying to play on a 50s thing, so someone else suggested, why don't we try Frankie and the Heartstrings?
It is a cool name, and the thing is,
but I didn't actually say guys, we are calling this after me. I didn't say that
because
I'm not the kind of guy.
It is one of those things where it did kind of it was different, especially at the time, because you
at the time there was only Frankie and the Heartstrings and Florence and the Machine who had an Anther.
Yeah.
Then loads of bands had an Anther.
Yeah.
We ended up touring Florence. But so apart from that, there wasn't any. But then there was millions of Anthers.
You started the trend.
Perhaps, but we were just following a trend from the 50s.
Yeah, well,
We had a fella on last week called Kewen, and that's his solo name. But he's got a band coming through, and it's Kewen and the Crosswalks. That seems to be a thing that's still going through.
Yeah,
obviously, and the best of folk rock band out of Fulwell.
Yeah, mine's really.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's deliberately that though, because But the thing is though, you type, because I could. The reason I called it that is because I couldn't actually think of a name.
Yeah.
So I just made it really long-winded. However, if you Google folk rock and Fulwell, I'm the first thing that comes up on Google. So I must have done something
one
right.
out of one searches.
Yeah. In fact, second search is you, because I supported you once.
What do you think about bands who changed letters or spell their name differently so they're more Googleable? Do you think in 10 years' time people will go, oh, that was a bit cringe, actually?
I don't, yeah, because I reckon Google automatically kind of, did you mean this?
Yeah.
So it automatically spells it right anyway.
Yeah, it's a good point, that.
So I don't know if that works or not, because then it's harder to find on Spotify as well. Or maybe, is it? I don't know.
And people don't know how to spell your name either.
Yeah, because that's true.
Or say your name.
I get that issue.
That band Always, people say always when it's not. It's always, but they were just doing the V because so it was more searchable at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Google's to say like Google's smarter now, isn't it? So it's it just
Why didn't you just ask ChatGPT or whatever it's called to make a band name up and make all the and then get AI to make them and then get AI to make the music? Then you don't have to do anything.
Right, let's see if ChatGPT will give us a name. Let's go on it. Right, what kind of name do we want?
So what do you need to put in? What would you need to put in?
I don't know actually.
Create a band name for a sexy, hard rock, unique.
Right.
It's definitely going to be called the Groomers, isn't it?
I know
It's called the New Groomers.
Create a band name for a sexy,
hard rock, available, and beat combo from the northeast.
The northeast. Hang on, I'm gonna have to say hello. How are you as well? I always have to ask that because I'm scared like the inevitable robot invasion. And if I come across as quite nice, the robots will spare us.
You'll get spared.
Hello there. Hope you are okay.
You might end up having sex with one of these.
I know, right?
Can you?
Japanese dolls come over.
Can you create a band name for a sexy hard rock available beat combo from the northeast? Let's see what it comes up.
Come on.
Hello, I'm doing well, thank you. How about? Ooh, that's pretty cool. Right, sultry strike.
I like it.
Yeah,
and it's topical because everyone's going on strike.
Yeah, so it's a hard rock feel to it, and the word sultry adds a sexy edge.
Yes.
Plus, the alliteration in the name makes it catchy and memorable.
It does.
Another option could be Northern Heat. I don't like that as much.
Oh, that sounds like a drama.
Yeah, which incorporates the fact that the band is from the northeast and has a fiery hard rock sound.
I'm pretty sure they practice at the bunker already as well.
Yeah. I know. That's great, thank you.
This is fantastic.
I am well, thank you for asking.
yes, I am well. I am well. Let's see if you can write a song. Can you write our first hit single?
I didn't know ChatGPT was a real thing. I've seen loads of adverts and stuff, but I thought it was you had to buy it, download it, whatever.
In
fact, he's just went on the website and done it.
This will be presenting the podcast next week.
I know.
Can you produce? Can you host a podcast? Okay, this one's called Electric Thrill.
I like it.
Okay, so first one. I feel the heat rising up inside. The rhythm's got me hypnotized. My body's moving with the beats. I can't resist the urge to meet. Electric thrill, it's what I need. A rush of sound and energy. Sultry strike, you're the one taking me higher than the sun. Verse 2. The guitar scream, the drum pound. I feel the music all around. It's like a wild and wicked dream, but I never want to leave. Electric thrill, it's what I need. A rush of sound. That's the chorus. Bridge, you got me begging for more. I want to feel the music roar. Let's keep this feeling alive and ride the wave into the night. Yeah,
this is sexy. It's good.
I know.
This is brilliant.
Electric thrill is what I crave. Sultry strike, you're the band that saves my soul from the mundane. Let's keep this music insane. Oh my god, that is
wow.
Okay.
It's brilliant.
I think we've just lost with jobs.
Yeah. I'm predicting number one hit. Hang on, see what he says. This is really dangerous, actually, talking to a bloody...
Yeah. It's not. It's good. Hit. This is brilliant. Dave from our band, he used to be able to give you a band name for any kind of genre as well on the spot. He'd come out with some belters. It's like metal band.
Cheese Mara.
It'd be like...
Cheers, Mara.
Yeah. He just come out with them, but now we don't need that. We just got
ChatGPT. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I hope it becomes a hit for Sultry Strike. Keep rocking.
Sultry Strike.
Sultry Strike.
Wow.
Yeah, you heard it here first. There we go. Anyway, that was really fun.
It's not just advice, but band names
and
a song.
Band names are. You know what? If I kept going this right, okay, can you code me a website for Sulky Strike, and it'll send you the code.
Really?
And then it'll just have the website up there.
Wow.
It's just like, yeah.
It's a bit too advanced for me.
This is already happening though, I bet. 100%.
I bet this happened before we knew about it though.
Yeah, I mean, when you used to like sometimes when I was get stuck writing lyrics, I would go on the rhyme websites and stuff like that and say what rhymes or what syllables would go with that, and only if you need like a couple to finish off a verse or chorus or whatever, just ideas. But now you know for a fact people are just writing the whole thing on there.
Yeah, well,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably. I mean, to be fair, it's not. It doesn't really say anything. That's the thing. But I think if you ask to write a song about like,
can you write a song in the style of this band?
Yeah, you could about this thing. You could probably find a couple of lines that would get you started.
Definitely.
That you wouldn't have before. I might try and do it. I might write the song actually.
I want to try and never use ChatGPT.
Although now I've said this, the next time I write a really good song,
that was a robot, James.
People aren't going to believe that I wrote the song. They're going to be, nah, you just got a robot to write that.
But then you'll be the robots will love you when they come to Earth.
That's true, actually.
You'd be the biggest star on this planet.
We touring the robot civilization.
I would actually, yeah. And they'll be like, "Why did you let me live?" Because you said thank you.
We're first to go because we mocked them.
Yeah.
That was a good part too.
Yeah, I'll take it. Hang on, I need to get me some.
It's a shame we didn't bring a guitar because part 4, when we usually do like a song at the end, we could have tried to recreate the ChatGPT sim.
You know what? I might try and write that and then just like add it on to the end.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try it.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything else.
Exactly.
He's not a busy man.
No, actually I am, but anyway.
That was a joke.
I know. Well, anyway, shall we take a small break? We'll be back soon. See you in part 3. Hang on. Get better with that.
Oh, that was interesting.
We're back, baby!
There we go. Welcome back to side 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to kind of because the thing is you've got the laptop, so I'm riffing off you here.
No, it looks like I've got stuff. I've just got a notepad. I couldn't be asked to write it down. Like the first 4 episodes, I was constantly writing down the episode, and I went, I can just type it on my phone and sync it up to the laptop later on, and it's just easier.
Yeah.
Part 3, we've got essentially this is kind of like the promo push, the upcoming shows, songs, etc. As a band, are you guys still producing stuff?
So not since Dave died have we got in a practice room to write. We were before COVID, because he died just after COVID, I think.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah. So we were writing quite a lot, and we had the bare bones of I think about between 10 and 20 demos, which we were then going to start rounding up into 10 or 11 songs for a record. I mean, I've still got all these. I think now though it's just so hard because we forced ourselves to make the time to make those demos. Since he died, we've all become a lot busier in our own lives. You know, it's so hard. What's been amazing though is being able to practice and push ourselves just to get together for a couple of hours a week and practice for this gig we've got coming up to celebrate 10 years of Pop Rex. And when you go in there, you forget about how busy you are. You forget about everything else, really. You're catching up with friends, and you end up playing cool. We're playing the set through at the moment because we're trying to get Peter Bruce up to speed, who's playing drums at that occasion, and ourselves as well, because when we performed these songs for a few years now, we're just trying to get back into the swing of things. But it feels good, you know. It's nice. I don't know if we're ever going to have the time to start writing again as Frankie the Heartstrings, or even if it would be right to write as Frankie the Heartstrings like Dave, because he was such a big part of everything we did. He was literally the driving force behind it, you know. And so I don't know what the future is, but I know that it feels nice to play on these songs. We sold out the gigs in a few minutes, which is nice. I know it's essentially in the venue we set up in Sunderland, but it sold out really fast.
People, you're still relevant. People still want to come and see us and stuff like that. Just
and you know, it was always a thrill to go on stage, nerve-wracking, and increasingly more so when you're not doing it all the time, and I understand like a lot of the stuff I do is still in the public eye to a certain extent, and there's nerves that go with that, but they still won't replace the nerves of going out in front of a sold out gig or whatever. But yeah, it's nice and it feels good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't know what the future holds for Frankie and the Heartstrings. We've never split up. We just all got busy, and like, you know, like Michael from the band with our friend Dan, they're essentially running pop recs every single day. Ross is writing loads of amazing stuff. He's even writing like the play version of I, Daniel Blake at the moment. He's writing the score for that. He's also writing his own musical as well, which is going to be like a proper musical that goes on tour. And he's also in the Future Head still, and they're still trying to do things as well. Dennis works hard in his own right, and he's got a family now as well, but he's back on bass and he seems to be in a good place now.
Yeah.
And we're all enjoying practicing. We've got Peter on drums at the moment. Michael's obviously busy with Pop Rex, and I'm so busy with everything else. Like, you know, I'm like every single day. I mean, I only had one day off between February and April. One day off because I was doing like loads of radio stuff, so on BBC or doing the football stuff for Sunderland Football Club.
Because you do BBC now. You obviously do your amazing radio, and then obviously you do it's all like the commentary stuff for the SAFC live.
And sometimes it's like 2 or 3 games a week.
Yeah.
So even like my evenings are just so busy. Like, and so when I do get an evening, I just want to like watch a box set and chill.
Yeah, because it does. I mean, you think a match, because I always think like, because I played, because you contacted us to ask to play like the stadium between the games and stuff. Like, it's for an hour. That's like an hour or so. But it takes up your entire afternoon, really, when you...
I mean, if it's a home game, a 3 p.m. kickoff, I'm arriving at the ground at like 11 a.m, 10:30, you know, for a 3 o'clock kickoff. Yeah. Sometimes even earlier if we've got more on, because I'm setting up the fan zone and things like that. And I'm involved with all the production you see on a match day, you know, in terms of what's happening on the screens and what the PA announcers saying, which I also was doing as well. Yeah. But now I've got my friend Rory helping out on that. So... And then I do the whole program, and once I'm kind of like, we've done our sound and lighting checks, essentially 2 hours before the match kicks off, I'm locked in there. I can't move until an hour after the final whistle, because I also do a post-game program as well.
Yeah, that's a full day, like this full shift.
100%. But it goes like that sometimes.
Yeah, I bet
it's mad, like how fast it flies. And I love Sunderland Football Club. You know, I'm
just a random one. This comes out on the 9th of May.
Yeah.
So you might eat your words, but Sunderland. Are they making playoffs this season?
At the moment, they are.
Do you reckon they're going to finish in the top 6?
You know, it's almost up to us.
I'd love to see them come up. You know.
Do you know what? I think we might get playoffs, but whether we get through to play into a final and then kick on, you know, momentum's a very important thing with playoffs, and we proved that. We finished 5th in League One last season,
it's
and we're currently 6th in the Championship.
Yeah,
I was hoping for survival.
I was like saying, if you told me we'd finished 15th next out of, but
everyone would have. But we've had major players out all season. We essentially played the last game with no central defenders, no recognised striker. Our captain and main holding midfielder has been out for pretty much all the season as well. It's insane. They're massively overachieving. They're the youngest squad in the Championship. They're all playing for each other, and they've got momentum.
Yeah, it's enough, innit?
And it might be enough.
Yeah, I'm a Villa fan myself.
Okay.
So when we were in the Championship, it was the case of we were rock solid mid-table. Then we went on a 10-game winning streak, and it put us just in the top 6, and then it was enough to go to the final and win. Yeah. And it's
always about the team who's got the best momentum.
Yeah.
We did last season in League One, and it could be us in the Championship.
Because the problem with Sunderland most of the time is that like we start the season good, and then after Christmas we lose the thing. But it's been different recently.
But imagine if we had all our good players fit, we would have stormed the league. We maybe not beat Burnley to the top of the Championship, but certainly that second space or top 6 comfortably. Yeah,
I reckon so.
Anyway,
but that's the way it is.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We might be eating our words. Probably.
But if we are, what a season it's been. We've scored some amazing goals. We've had the privilege of having Ahmad there all season, who's an amazing privilege to watch. We've seen Jack Clark be amazing. We've seen Patrick Roberts be amazing. Anthony Patterson. All these players are in the first proper seasons of the Championship, and you think, what the heck?
And you know what? It's good football.
Yeah,
good to watch.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And we've had lots of bad football in recent years,
and it's
a pleasure.
Breath of fresh air.
It's very
Change.
good.
Yeah.
I'll do this again next season. Just if it stops now and we have to do it again, fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And I really like Tony Mowbray.
Yeah.
I really like Tony Mowbray. People weren't sure of him at first, but
I have to admit,
yeah.
I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
but he's passionate about getting young players to play football, and he's done that every single week.
Yeah, that's it. And sometimes it's not necessarily the players don't have to be like the best player on the pitch. They've just got to want it more.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all the difference. I feel that's what the difference has been, especially since we've had players out. I think the players who have been replacing those players have been hungry to go to your single. They've had hunger to actually do well. I
This
think that's
guy's
kind
good.
of yeah, well, it's that's why they pay us the $0. That's what I guess.
We might be able to clip this bit out and send it to Sunderland and just get them to push the
Never know.
push the clip out. No, that's good. It is a full-time job. Obviously, everything you do combined plus the personal life.
It's mad. It's more than that,
Yeah.
But you've got to spin plates these days to make ends meet, and I'm not unique, and I'm very lucky to do the things I do.
Yeah.
Just going back, obviously, with us saying this is out on the 9th of May. What date is the Pop Rex? Has that been confirmed yet? Or?
Yeah, I should know this. I've got it on my phone, but it's like Beyonce's playing at the Stadium of Light on the Tuesday of that week, and then we play on the Saturday. But we're doing 2 shows. We're doing like a matinee on the afternoon, so like our kids can come because that's how old we are now. And then we're doing a show in the evening.
Honestly,
for,
I love an afternoon gig.
It's nice.
Honest to God, more people should do it.
Yeah, I know Tom Smith did one, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago at Pop Rex, and that went well. Yeah, it's just people behave themselves a lot more in afternoon shows, and you can still go home and do what you want on the evening.
Yeah, that's it. I've got one on the 3rd of June at the Vaux Brewery. Specifically because I know a lot of my mates, they want to come and see us, but like they don't like staying out till like after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like because it's
good.
We're
Have you got
30
some stats there?
Yeah, Beyonce is the 23rd of May, which means your gig should be the 27th.
But it's not, is it? It's the week before, I think.
I don't know.
The week before is the 20th.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Either way, sadly, I'm not in the Northeast for either of them.
Hey,
Otherwise, I would have been there. I'm doing my tour show in York and then finalising in Birmingham the week after.
I'll tell you
Birmingham.
where I am.
played there before?
Yeah, I did a headline gig in a bar called The Asylum.
Oh, that sounds crazy.
Which is mental because myself, I'm like a pop singer-songwriter kind of vibe, and the week before was like a Black Sabbath tribute act, and then the AC/DC one was on, and the My Chemical Romance. So this isn't my scene, but
That's
still
Birmingham
worked out
for
well. Yeah. But yeah, otherwise I would have popped along.
Sold out anyway.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have popped along. I would have
You could do that thing that I do. You say, "I'll be there." Don't actually go.
Yeah.
just message you afterwards. I love that. It's
Yeah,
great.
that was great.
I
Yeah.
get a photo from inside and send it to you. But yeah, so 20th of May, I think that is.
Yeah, what will be will be.
Yeah.
Sold out. So
Good.
is people are going to get what they get.
Is there any other shows in the line, or is it just that one so far?
It's just that one for Frankie and the Heartstrings. I know there's plans to do lots of 10-year anniversary Pop Rex gigs.
Cool.
Futurehead's are doing a couple of nights It's in June, I think it is, theirs. And they're trying to get some other big artists over the line. Not just Sunderland artists, but bands who have been associated with Pop Rex over the years. So watch their space. Not this space, their space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I'm just there.
Yeah.
We need to start adding because we do like a weekly gig guide every
That's
Monday.
a good idea.
I'll start adding it to Pop Rex stuff.
Yeah.
Is there a website we can just find who's playing?
Yeah, just go on the Instagram.
I'll just be on there.
Yeah.
Mint. I'll start adding that to the gig guide.
That helps because the amount of cause he does all the work with the gig guide and stuff like that. The amount of times there's like bands playing who just don't have any social media presence. It's really hard to kind.
Oh, yeah.
Or they just don't advert. You see the name and then you don't see what the gig or anything like that. So you're like, oh, are they playing? But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many people who are like you search their socials because like let's say you'll go on like Little Building's web link and it says such John Smith is playing, and then you type John Smith on Instagram, you're like, I don't know where John Smith is.
No.
And it's like,
Yeah, so I guess you're advocating that people are clear with their gig listings.
I would like them to be clear with who they are.
Then you can shout about them.
Yeah.
You're only trying to help.
Trying to help them out.
Yeah.
Like today we do the gig guide every Monday and one came out and I'm trying to tag I can't remember which one it was, and it's like, this person doesn't allow you to tag them. Like,
yeah, I get that when I find like new bands on Amazing Radio, and you're like, I want to shout about you on our Twitter page. It's got like 50,000 followers. We could tweet about you, but you haven't got a Twitter, so I can't. So I just have to hashtag you instead, and hope that one day you search for yourself.
Yeah.
I was going to say any like upcoming songs as well, but I presume nothing as of yet.
No. I mean, no plans to do anything original. Kind of start writing. But you never know. I mean, it would always come back to time and availability. And right now, I'm totally stacked.
The thing is, there's no pressure to do anything either.
You know what? There's not, but it'll happen at the right time if it's meant to happen.
Yeah,
I was just speaking to Neil, one of the proprietors of this building, and he said that they've been doing something similar. They've been practicing Hide and Beast, have been like practicing, and we said similar things, like, isn't it great just to get back in the room with your mates and catch up? You know, we spent the first 45 minutes just talking about what we've done that week and how the kids are, and I've booked a holiday this year, and I don't really socialize. I don't really go out anymore because I'm too busy doing stuff. So when I get a night off, the last thing I want to do is go out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or if you go to a gig, sometimes that's the last thing you want to do. Yeah. So it's just nice to get in a room with your friends, play some music, shout a bit, de-stress yourself. And isn't that the reason you got in a room in the first place?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So it goes full circle, you know, and who knows, one day it'll happen for the right reason, and that'll be great. And if we make another record, that's a total bonus, because we're probably only getting back together so we could just make some cool sounds about the bands we're into at the moment.
That's it, honestly. Get one of these and just kind of just record a practice room. And then just that's your release. There we go.
Did you see, I don't know if you're a fan of Mac DeMarco. Did you see his record he dropped this week?
No, I didn't.
So Mac DeMarco, quite a hipster artist, but one of my faves. And he just dropped like a 199 track album.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just like essentially just
songs on his phone.
It's just demos and like loops, but they're all sort of formed. So some of them would be like a minute long, some of them will be like 4 minute long, some of them won't have, most of them don't have vocals, some of them just have vocals, some of them have everything, some of them have just a weird kind of sound, which he obviously liked, and he's recorded that for a few minutes. But there's 199 tracks. Go and check it out. After Marco's new record, and he's just put it on Spotify. But he's the kind of artist who can do that because he's so revered by people who love him that they'll just absorb it. And I totally have. I've found myself listening to it.
I've always thought about doing, because I've got hundreds of little like 30-second to a minute songs that like they've got a verse and a chorus, and I've never actually finished them. But I've always been tempted, just, you know what, I'm just gonna release it and see what people think, because I do listen to them every now and then in the car. If I'm wanting to write a song, I think maybe I've already written the song, I just don't know about it. And I do every now and then you get like out of the hundreds of recordings, I'll press play in the car and I'll be like, oh, actually that's quite good.
It's amazing the stuff you come up with, and you know, normal people who don't make music, they'll be like, muggles. They'll be like, the fact that you've got like a guitar in your house is like extraordinary to them. Yeah. So the fact that you make music and you've got millions of ideas just down as voice notes, even if it's like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, muggles don't normally do that. So like, it's quite extraordinary how we just get ideas down, and people think you've got superpowers.
This has been a good pod.
I've really enjoyed it.
Audience are going mad over it. I feel like I'm on Letterman. Never got on Letterman.
Just to circle back to the Instagram tags and stuff, is there any social media tags that you want to push for people to kind of follow through? And
I mean, you can follow me if you like.
Frankie with 4 underscores.
Frankie with 4 underscores on Twitter. No blue tick anymore. And on Instagram. I feel a bit deflated about my blue tick.
I was going to say, I
just woke up one day and it was there.
Yeah.
So that was quite nice.
It's a weird thing though, because some people...
The band's got one as well, but what did?
Some people have got it back, apparently.
Yeah, if you got over 1 million followers,
is that
you get
what
it back. Yeah. I haven't. I got like 900 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean...
I've got like 26.
Yeah.
You know, you can follow me on socials if you want to see what I'm doing at work. It's essentially all I post. Like, maybe if I've done some gardening, I'll post a picture of like my grass.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to stop playing the game to the extent But I said I might start building my brand in a cynical way. So if you're up for that,
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
come along for the ride. I won't be doing TikToks or anything like that. Don't get your hopes up. But I do post a lot of funny stuff on Instagram, on my stories. If I find funny stuff on the internet, I post it. And a lot of people like that about my Instagram content. So like, people like falling into machinery and stuff like that. No deaths.
Okay.
Yeah,
But just I try and keep it light on there. Old music clips, stories like that I find fun.
an entertaining presence that keeps people coming back for more.
Sick memes.
It's honest, I love a good meme.
Yeah, you can't beat them.
You can't beat a meme.
Yeah, we are the meme generation, I think.
Yeah. That's how I advertise gigs. Basically, I just do
great recently.
I just do memes.
Have you seen that way of advertising gigs now, where you just literally print up the WhatsApp conversation?
Yeah. I love that.
And then
I need a poster.
Yeah, that's good. And then Michael the other night from our band, he unintentionally, just printed off the set list, but he didn't have the set list on his computer, so he got Dennis to email him the set list so he could print off the email on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So he just printed it off and it had like the subject title set list, and he put them around the practice. So I was like, this is genius! Like this is much.
That's quite clever.
Yeah.
That just like with like the tabs still open and stuff like that.
Everything was still open. He just printed it off. I was like, that reminded me of that gig poster from WhatsApp, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. So we'll probably sell them for like £10 each as a screen print at the gig. Sign it, and then people buy it.
That's it. I will, damn right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
We'll definitely exploit people in our gig.
Thank you very much for coming down.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much, and good luck with the forthcoming pods.
Yes, thank you. If you guys have enjoyed the show, go follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We are Off the Stage UK, Off the Stage 2 on Twitter, because we were too late to get that domain.
Off the Stage 1, yeah. Could we have had Off the Stage 1?
I don't know, you did the Twitter.
Did I?
Yeah.
You really dropped a ball there, James.
I know.
If you haven't already realised, we also do YouTube. Go check that out. If you're on Spotify,
Is this gone on YouTube?
Yeah, that's why it's got the little videos.
Shit.
Honestly, it goes on Spotify.
As
The
well.
video goes on Spotify.
Yeah, that's
What?
a new thing
Yeah,
we've done.
you can video Spotify. What Spotify has videos.
It's getting
now.
crazy.
Well,
It's the bloody kids these days. All they want to see is videos. Like, but
so did I when I was 15. To be fair,
yeah.
but not those kind of.
Yeah. Normally after part 3 we have part 4 where the guest goes on, does a little acoustic pub table session.
But James is going to create a song from
I
AI
was gonna say
and put it in here.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know what? I might just give it a go. It might
So
sound
there's
shit,
two
like-
options. We did a HMV live and local a few months back. We can either choose one of their songs to play next, or if you really want, we should force James to do.
I think it's a scientific
generated.
experiment.
to see if I can write a good song.
The
But
people out
AI
there need to know,
In the
and it's
key of
very
A
topical.
flat.
If you hashtag AI song, it could be number one next week.
You know what I should have done? Oh, I've still got the.
Have you got the lyrics?
I mean, you read them out loud, to be fair. Just listen back to the
yeah, go
podcast.
back.
Can you send me chords to this song?
Please.
I feel like it's only
Please,
a 3
obviously,
or 4
please.
quarter this one.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Right, so let's
GCD,
see.
done.
Can you send me chords to this song? Okay. Who E minor, G, D, A. That's the verse. The chorus is C, G, D, A.
Chorus starts with a C. It's a hit.
Yeah. Bridge A minor, C, G, D. Strumming patterns for the verses could be a simple
This is
down up strumming
no
on
way.
easy chord, while the chorus could have a more driving rhythm with downstrokes on the
Right,
first beat. and
James, you have to
upstrokes.
follow this
Right.
to the letter.
Yeah, okay.
This is a
I'm gonna-
scientific experiment. This is going to make news, by the way.
Yeah, if I can.
This could make this could make the news. I'm not even joking here because you are
this
doing
works.
this has got traction.
Yeah, okay. Now, okay.
If it
I'm
works,
gonna-
can we send you a clip to
I will
broadcast
play,
where
I
you
will play
can?
this on the radio
Electric
I will
Thrill
play
by
this on the
Silver
radio,
Strike.
James.
Right, okay. Well,
and
let's get-
context it with a
then
song written by a northeast musician through AI.
Through AI.
And then you're probably going to get famous through this.
Don't forget us, James.
But the thing is, he's not going to get any money for it because ChatGPT or whatever wrote it.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah, but we get views. And that's
yeah,
what matters.
that's good. I saw Grimes today. Sorry, I keep on talking, but Grimes today said that she would split 50-50 profits with anyone who could write a song with her AI vocal and style of song. She would
Yeah.
split the profits with the person who came up with the AI idea, even though AI is coming up with the idea. So this is happening. This is topical.
I know.
James, this is
getting
going to
there.
be a
I'm gonna-
breakthrough moment.
Got a thumbs up. Yeah, I like.
And I want you to play it at the final home game of the season as well.
In the middle of the.
Yeah, people won't care.
Why
Just
not?
do it. They'll think it's a hit because you've written a hit based on
Just see-
the scientific element of what a hit is.
I'll just see if
You've
you've got a
got
melody. Do you
2
have a
weeks.
melody? Do you have a melody? No worries if not.
How's it going to get you a melody?
I know, right? I'd like
I
to
don't
see
know. Let's
that.
see. Do you
Explain
have a
it.
melody? No worries. As an AI language model, I don't have capability to sing or record melodies, but I can give you a guidance somehow to a melody for Electric Thrill. Could sound for the verses. Melody could follow a general contour of the lyrics with a low, moody, and slightly intense tone. The chorus
It's good
could
with
be
the
more
tone,
energetic.
yeah.
With a catchy and memorable melody that builds on the excitement of the lyrics. The bridge could have a softer, more emotional feel with a more sustained melody. I hope this helps you in crafting the perfect melody for Electric Thrill.
And here it is.
Go on, press
Hang on. I need to say thank you first as well, so hang on. So the robots don't take us. There we go. Thank you. Here's Electric Thrill by... Okay.
James Berry and
Sultry,
CGBT, whatever it
Silla,
is.
whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, see you later.
Really excited for that song, you know.
I'm gonna do it.
This is what you need, James.
He's never
Yeah.
going to sleep tonight. He's just going to be on that non-stop.
Right, I'm gonna.
I feel the heat rise inside. The rhythm's got me hypnotized. My body's moving with the beat. I can't resist the urge to meet unknown. Electric thrill, it's what I need. A rush of sound and energy. Electric thrill, you are the one taking me higher than the sun. The guitar scream, the drums they pound. I feel the music all around. It's like a wild and wicked dream, but I never want to leave. Oh no, 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 no. Electric thrill, it's what I need. A rush of sound and energy. Electric thrill, you are the one taking me higher than the sun. Got me begging you for more. I feel the music war. Let's keep the feeling alive and ride the wave until the night. Electric thrill, it's what I need. Oh, it's your sound and energy. Electric thrill, you are the one taking me higher than the sun. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Electric thrill, you are the one.